What is going on, guys? My name is Lance. Hey! Today, we're bringing you guys another video. That was a long intro, but regardless of that, what is going on, guys? This is the official one. This is the only one. No, this is the recap for ESWC, Call of Duty ESWC, whatever you want to call it, 2015. If you guys didn't know, it was held in Paris. It was an absolute insane event. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Can I just give you guys the recap? If you missed the grand finals because it was early in the morning for us Americans, or if you guys were across the pond, then it was good for you. But I'll be kind of going over what happened at the event, my favorite moments, the overall placings, and about the events to come. Because if you guys didn't know, there's like a couple events like in a row. Like this weekend we are in, this weekend we were in at ESWC. Next weekend we're like in Gfinity. After that we're like in a bunch of different places. I don't know, it's crazy, but let's go ahead and get right into the official recap. Not sure why I keep saying official. So what we're going to do first is actually go over all of the placings that went down. If you guys didn't know, this is an 8-team tournament. Only 8 teams were actually made it through. A lot of them were, based off of what people voted for and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get right into the overall placings, which were coming in 7th through 8th was FaZe France and Millennium. Coming in 5th through 6th was Epsilon Esports and Barrage. Coming in 3rd and 4th were Vitality and Team Revenge. Coming in 2nd came Denial Esports, and in 1st was none other than Optic Gaming. Optic Gaming. I feel like whenever people say Optic Gaming, there's always like a different tone they add to their voice because it's like Optic Gaming. Oh my god. So how the tournament worked, there were actually 2 groups that ended up happening. The top 2 teams that made it from that group moved on. The other 2, however, did not. So in Group 1 came, looks like Optic Gaming, Denial, Barrage, and Millennium. That's exactly how it ended up lining up. Optic Gaming ended up having a 2-1 map record. Denial and Barrage also had that, but it came down to who had won the less of the maps and whatnot. So Optic Gaming went 8-5. Denial went 8-6. Barrage went 8-7. Barrage had some insane moments. Do not sleep on these guys. They ended up beating Optic Gaming 3-2 in their first game. They had some really good series. They ended up beating Millennium as well, and ended up barely almost beating Denial. Denial ended up 3-2ing them, but still a very good team. Barrage, definitely looking to see them in the future. I had heard good things about them, but I wasn't really for sure how they would perform, especially with having Optic and Denial, arguably the 2 best teams right now in Call of Duty in their group, and they did very well. So unfortunately, they weren't able to move on. However, Millennium ended up going 0-3. That's Gotaga's team, as well as Carbon and his brother. They're both from around that area. The French Monster is what Gotaga is known as, and the crowd was absolutely electric. Every time that they would get a kill, it was like Nadeshot had just won the World Championships. Like every time, they would get a kill, crowd would erupt. It was absolutely insane. I loved seeing that. It was great. I honestly, like, that was the best crowd that Call of Duty has ever seen. So if you guys didn't know, like I said, Optic Gaming ended up finishing in 1st in that pool, or that group, and Denial ended up coming 2nd narrowly. So heading into Group 2. The groups consisted of FaZe France, Vitality Storm, Epsilon Esports, and Team Revenge. Placing out of it, it ended up being Team Revenge and Vitality Storm. It was pretty close. They both went 2-1. Like all of them went 2-1 except for FaZe France, who ended up getting 0-3 in overall record. It came down to map losses, like I said, whoever had the most losses and wins, and that ended up being Team Revenge 8-4, Vitality Storm 8-5, Epsilon Esports 6-6, and like I said, FaZe France 2-9. Didn't even win a map, which is kind of unfortunate. Would like to see Epsilon move forward, but their performances were just not up to par. Vitality had some really good moments in the tournament. They ended up beating TR at one point, but TR beat like everyone else, so it was kind of unfortunate for them. But we saw some really good matches. Vitality actually lost to Epsilon, so it was like they lost to them. They lost, like, I can't really explain it how it sounded, but it was all around a great group play. It didn't really last that long, but they had 3 streams, like 3 games going on at once, which didn't really make sense to me when there's only 8 teams. But regardless of that, we're gonna kind of go into who got out of the group, the playoffs, and a bunch of different awesome stuff, mate. So how the playoffs ended up working out, obviously you guys can see the 2 teams that made it, or the 4 teams that made it into the playoffs were Optic Gaming, Vitality Storm, TR, and Denial. Optic Gaming ended up playing Vitality, and TR ended up playing Denial. A great game between TR, or Team Revenge, and Denial. This is actually Team Revenge's last tournament together. That was their last tournament together. Unfortunately, they'll be splitting apart. Nagafen and Aqua are both going to Prophecy, and we're not really sure what's going on with the other two, and Remy and Facento. However, kind of unfortunate. It was TR's last tournament together. Would have liked to see them, maybe try to come out with the win or at least get in the grand final, but ended up losing to Denial 3-2. In the other game, like I said, Optic Gaming ended up 3-0ing them, which meant the grand final would consist of Optic Gaming and Denial. Like I said, guys, there was no loser bracket. There's no loser bracket to come back from. If you're out, you're out once you get to the playoffs. So like Vitality and TR didn't play. The winner of that gets to move on. No, it's not how it works. We're doing straight business here. So the grand final came down to Denial Esports and Optic Gaming, the two best teams. That's two best teams in Call of Duty Esports right now. Denial came off of a win. From Call of Duty Championships 2015, Optic Gaming been looking very, very good. If you guys didn't know, the whole tournament they've been using Enable. Since Karma can't leave or travel out of the country, Enable was actually their fill-in from FaZe, so he's been filling in for Karma. He was kind of curious how they were going to work out. How is this team going to play together? They ended up playing very, very well. At least after the first game. I feel like Optic always has that, that slow start, but they ended up playing very well and winning the tournament, obviously. And Optic ended up winning 3-1, and I cannot tell you guys how hype this grand final was. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make every single game. I caught the last 3, so I missed the first game. But I came in basically on around comeback uplink, and I cannot tell you guys the hype in that arena was absolutely insane. The venue was perfect. The venue looked absolutely gorgeous. I'm not just saying that to be weird, but the Paris venue was so nice, and ESWC really did a great job on their live event. The event looked great. Hex had actually did a venue tour, and he was showing the worst place to sit. You had a perfect view. It was insane how they had it set up. It was a great venue, like I said, and ended up working out very, very well. Unfortunately, we had to watch it on a bunch of different streams. Daily Motion, not really sure about how that has to work out, but ended up working out. Optic Gaming, like I said, ended up winning the final game in CTF on Retreat. Great game. Then I was coming back. They ended up barely making it on the comeback uplink game and scored with it was there was 3 minutes left. They were down by 6, and they ended up coming back and winning, which was absolutely insane. So the crowd was hyped. They were yelling stuff. They were winning the game 5. Denial ended up coming back pretty well on Retreat CTF. I handed it to him for that. I think Formal ended up dropping 56 kills, which is absolutely insane for a CTF, especially on Retreat. So that was an absolute amazing game, and Optic Gaming was able to clutch up and get a really nice cap by Crimsix at the very end, which ended up making them the victors of ESWC 2015. This is Crimsix's 3rd ESWC win. He's won every single ESWC there is possible to win. He's won one with Complexity, he's won one with EG, and now he's won one with Optic Gaming. Crimsix now up to 18 total championships. One away. He's one away from tying Mr. Patrick Price, Mr. Aches. He's one away from tying the overall championships record, basically, which is absolutely crazy. We'll see what happens. We got Gfinity coming up next weekend, which is going to be hype. I'm definitely really excited for that tournament as well. We're going to see a lot of interesting things. These tournaments coming up. If Crimsix wins Gfinity, which is coming up next weekend, it's happening. It's happening. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it soon. But people were asking me, does this mean Roster Mania is going to happen? No, it doesn't mean Roster Mania is going to happen. And Enable is on FaZe. I'm sure he would like to stay on Optic Gaming. He just won a championship. Obviously, I want to stay on that team that I won a championship with. However, Karma will be coming back to Optic Gaming. Well, he didn't leave, but, being back on the official roster and playing with them, I guess you could say, for that. So we're going to kind of go over some stats and kind of give you guys my favorite moments of the entire tournament and maybe give an MVP of the tournament as well. So I'm going to give you guys the top KDs of ESWC, which is provided by COD _stats. And I'm going to shout out this guy. He follows me. He's a great designer. His name is Takeover Kyle, I believe is his name, and he made a really great graphic. You guys have seen it right now. But the top 5 KDs for ESWC were coming in 5th, Crimsix with a 1.20. Nagafen also kind of tying with Crimsix at a 1.20 as well. Coming in 3rd was Formal with a 1.24. Coming in 2nd was Swanee with a 1.29 and Clayster with a 1.33. Now keep in mind, guys, how I'm choosing this is not based on the team that won. I don't want you guys to think the team that won, I'm like, you know what, the team that won has to have the MVP. I don't believe that at all. in the NBA, for instance, players will win it all the time, and they're not on the championship team a lot of the time. Most of the MVPs that win have a pretty bad team, and I'm not saying that any of these guys have a bad team. I'm just saying that they're leagues above, and their performance helps their team win. That's why they're so good. I'm not gonna like relate it to any certain player because some people might get frustrated. However, to me, the MVP of this tournament, not looking at KD by any means, was Formal. I think Formal had an insane event, had so many clutch moments, and in the grand final, dropping as many kills as he did in the final game. I think he dropped like 55 or 56 kills. Really going ham. That's totally a reference that people use now. But had some insane moments. Really helped his team win. I think honestly, the addition of Enable really helped them. Enable's not necessarily the same role that Karma plays, but I think it took a little bit of the weight off of Crimsix's shoulders, in a sense, because Crimsix doesn't really have to be that flag carrier. That's kind of what Enable is good at. He's really good at running the flag. He can also help with the objective role in certain situations. So I know it was kind of awkward for Krem, but I think they honestly did a very good job at this tournament. Obviously, congratulations to Optic Gaming for winning the tournament. Honestly, this event was put on very well. I would have liked to see them kind of focus, for me personally, on the games. I felt like for me right now, it was 10. Like they started the overall grand final at like 10 o'clock our time, and I understand that's the EU's time. That's meant to be for them, and I totally understand that. But it's like 4 in the afternoon, and the event is over. Like, I'm not sure why it's that early. So I would have liked to see them kind of focus on every game. We had a tournament in the past where there was only 8 teams, and they literally showed every single game and had to cast it over and made it a really good event. So I would have liked to see them focus on it a little bit more. I didn't really like having the stream on Daily Motion and having to go to different streams. However, event was put on very well. The overall event was great. I definitely rate it very high on my list, and this crowd was T1. This is the best crowd I've ever heard. I've been Landon. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to click like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace out.